That's right. These students are on the front line. Hi, I'm Kathy Russell, Director of Children's Ministries. One of the best ways we can introduce our children to Jesus is by bringing them to Vacation Bible School, or VBS. However, that's not our only purpose for putting so much effort into VBS. It is an important evangelistic tool, too. We want to invite our neighborhood children and their parents to come so they can also meet Jesus. VBS is an important weapon we can use to help our children in winning the spiritual battles they face every day. As adults, we try to teach them to walk with God, but sometimes it takes young people to reach young people, and that's exactly what's happening at Mount Pisgah Academy. These students are eagerly on the front lines, fighting for your children. They travel all over the Carolinas using their gifts and talents in VBS ministry. Just listen to their exciting stories of what God is doing through them.
This is the Mount Pisgah Academy recruiting team, and I am very excited to introduce them to you. They are an amazing group of young people. I mean, they know how to share the love of God, and it's really exciting to work with them. When we go out in the summer, you all get an opportunity to primarily work with Vacation Bible Schools. That's what we've been doing. What's the difference between Mount Pisgah Academy being there at the Vacation Bible School and Mount Pisgah Academy not being there at the Vacation Bible School?
When I was a kid and I was going to VBS, and it was always like the adults that were in charge were the ones that were like the elders of our church, so I'd seen them around. But when they were like academy students that helped out, I felt like I could connect more with them, and I kind of looked up more to them.
He was like my best friend. Like the first few days, I never really said anything to him. He never really talked to me. He'd always stay in the classroom after we'd rotate and stuff. And and then the next day I saw he was doing this, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be his friend. So the next day I just made it my goal to, be his friend. And then ever since then, that kid never left my side, and he was always with me, always talking to me. He wouldn't talk to anyone else. And then the last day when at the ending, his parents came up and talked to me and everything, told me how his dad's in Iraq and his mom's raising him by herself, and that kid was pretty cool.
It was just a great opportunity for you to connect with him and for him to have a male influence in his life like
Definitely.
that. And you called him your friend. About how old would you say he was?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. He was just a little tyke, a cutest little guy. There's no question, though, Ryan, that God put you in that place at that time to connect with that child.
Yeah.
And your history and your family and your life led up to that so that you could also be there.
Well, for me, it was definitely about the kids. And, it reminds me about that passage where Jesus says, "Let our little ones come to me," and we also have to be like them to enter the kingdom of heaven. And when you're working with them and everything, you see that, you get a little glimpse of that these kids are so young and they're just being molded, and you come and you're showing Christ to them, and it's just, it's a wonderful experience to you see that in them.
Every year we try to do Vacation Bible School, but it's a chore because you have to first find a bunch of people that will be willing to participate in Vacation Bible School.
And another big challenge we had is we didn't have any children in our church. So we were going to have to go out in the community and get our children for the VBS program.
And it was nice to watch, instead of 60 and 70-year-old people trying to conduct Vacation Bible School, it was actually nice to see teenagers conducting the program, and our people brought kids from the neighborhood, friends from other places, and even family members that lived in other cities. They brought kids to our church.
I think we had 20 kids the first night, and they related to the Academy kids like you can't believe. They were so excited to be interacting with kids that were older than them.
When Beth came with all of her kids, she warned us ahead of time that she was looking for projects that she could do in the community or with church members or people that knew our church, little projects where the kids could actually go and witness. If we could have some of them pick the green beans. And I said, we'll take the green beans and then we'll ask the kids to take them up to our neighbor's house and give them to the neighbor from the Academy kids. So the kids came down, and what might take me an hour and a half to pick, the kids were able to pick in about 20 minutes. They probably had about a bushel of green beans. And the neighbor lady, when we talked with her, was so happy and so excited, not just for the green beans, but from the visit of the young people that came to the house.
And the outcome of that is our little church had very few children, but right now we have between 8 and 15 kids every Sabbath.
And because of their presence, the excitement for VBS, I think, is going to be much greater this year.
Why were you willing to give up your entire summer to do something like this?
A lot of times it didn't really feel like work, and sometimes I think that we forget that in life that we had to go through like the tough stuff, like weeding, to get to the really good stuff, like the people's reactions who's like when they're seeing their yard all weeded. I think it's worth it.
How have you seen Christ being shown to you, or how have you been loved by the churches?
Like the first people we stayed with, they were the nicest people in the world, you know. It's like they honestly thought that we were their kids. It's like I felt like she was my mother and he was my father. like they loved us that much for knowing them for 3 days. And then halfway through the week we had to move and stay with these other people. And like in the morning she'd make us these big breakfasts, and then she'd just sit there and talk to us. And I don't know half the stuff she was telling us about because it was more of her generation. I was like, yep. It's like I felt like they were my parents too, and it was a great experience.
Hi, we're here at Southern Adventist University with a group of alumnus from Mount Pisgah Academy. We all have been a part of the Mount Pisgah Academy recruiting team at one point, and we're here to talk about our experience with Vacation Bible School. Matt, what was your experience like with Vacation Bible School and the recruiting team?
I grew a love for kids. I've learned how to relate to them better, and so much so that now when I'm picking a career, I might want to work with children.
I really enjoy doing Vacation Bible Schools just because of how excited the kids get, especially when you're doing music. You know, sometimes with the older kids, they can be a little slower to get excited, but you know, the kids are always really into the singing and they just want to have a really good time, lots of energy. And
well, I would just say that one of the things I really liked is I was also on the team 2 years, and you know, I'd go to a church and do Vacation Bible School and make relationships with these kids, and you know, they'd be in my little VBS crew, and you know, I'd get to know them real well, and then the next year I'd come back and they'd still all be there, and so you know, I had a long-lasting relationship with them.
I know my experience on the recruiting team, working with different churches really helped them out, and you know, they gained a blessing from our service to them, but I also know that I also gained skills. I gained leadership skills, organizational skills, and most of all, my passion for worshiping and doing music and interacting with young people also grew.
I just want to say I gained a new respect for my parents, having to deal with me at that age for so long. This past summer at a pastor's meeting, I actually heard a church member talking about an experience they had with the recruiting team last year where they didn't have very many youth with them in their church, and they were concerned about that. But after the recruiting team came in and put on a VBS, a lot more children started coming, and then those children started bringing their parents. So I think that's exactly what the recruiting team is designed to do.
Of all the things that we've done, what part is your favorite?
I like the VBS.
VBS.
Yeah, because like the kids are like, I don't know, when you work with the kids in like half an hour, they like your best friend, like they just know you for like 2 minutes and then just like connect to you really well. And then it's hard to let them go after you have to go to another church.
This Mount Pisgah Academy recruiting team was put into place to serve the Carolina Conference. We wanted to go out and to practically share God with the Carolina Conference.
VBS does not cost, it pays. It adds to our church more than just what dollars and cents could get. We have truly been blessed, and we hope that every church, especially the small churches that are thinking about not doing VBS, if you would consider doing it, but talk to Beth Grissom. See what she can do with her academy kids and see how it can change your church too.